Creating the life that you want in this reality and manifesting your dream life is like a freaking video game. And in this video, I'm going to show you a framework that I give to my clients that helps them break that down to where they can actually physically see where they're getting stuck and to where the epiphanies start making sense, to where this framework alone has done a lot of wonders, not only for myself, but for a lot of my clients. So let's go ahead and get into it. One thing you have to understand, right, is I took this when I noticed something in symbolism. I wanted to see something where I could bypass words and go straight to my subconscious, right? So in here, in part of my framework is this triangle. And at the very top of this triangle, we have being. On the left side of it, we have cause. Excuse my penmanship here. The right side of that, we have effect. The bottom, we have awareness. Okay. And then in the middle of this, we have I am. Okay. Cool. So how this all starts. Now, this could be for love, wealth, and or health, right? Any one of these things. It doesn't matter. This particular framework doesn't apply to one thing or the other. You can use this for every process. Now, being, this is what you always have to ask yourself. Now, a lot of people get stuck with this. They always get tripped up on how do I know who I'm being at any given moment? How do I know I'm in the right identity? How do I know I'm even taking the right step first? How do I make sure I'm doing that? Well, you always got to watch your internal and external speech. What are you saying? What are the words that you're using? What are the thoughts that you are claiming to be? Remember, but you're not your thoughts. So if you start claiming the old story thoughts, you're still in the old story identity. So a lot of people will do affirmations, or they'll do declarations. Okay. But I always just do a question. Who are you under pressure? Now, this question is the big one. You can affirm. See, people get stuck in affirming. They do affirmations and declarations until they're blue in the face. They do them all day long. They don't know when to stop. They think that there's a certain quota of affirmations that they have to say in a day or within an hour to make something happen. And that's putting you in the identity, not just belief and knowing and conviction of, but in the identity of, I need to be someone who does this in order to get something. And that's always going to be, it's always going to keep you in that loop of someone needing to get something, which that thing you never get. But here is the thing that really brings it into focus, is who are you when the pressure hits? So let's just take somebody, for example. Let's do this application of love, because I recently just helped out a client this week, and this is where this video idea came from, is she's going through issues with her SP, right? And she's wanting to manifest a specific person. And she says when she does her affirmations, right? When she does her affirmations, that she feels good in the moment. She understands who she's being in this moment. But when she goes through back to reality and back to her job, and she's socializing and everything else, she's realizing that things don't seem like they've changed. Things don't seem different. And then everything that she built internally is starting to collapse on her, because the pressure is starting to hit from all the other contradictions, the circumstances, other evidence, the conditions are not pleasing to what she wants. So she starts to fold under the pressure. So who you are under pressure is who you truly are. And the identity cannot sustain itself. You can't be the new I am if you can't handle the moments of pressure. Because when you go through the moments of pressure, you're telling your subconscious mind that, wait a minute, when we normally go through this part, the way that they associate with being, they go back to what we know to be familiar. They go back to the scarcity mindset. They go back to, we don't have it. We're never good enough. Is this ever going to happen? Maybe I should just, put like a rose oil underneath my pillow and sleep on it. Maybe I should wait until the the new line moon comes out, and then I can say my affirmations. Maybe there's something else I should do. Maybe there's another technique. Maybe there's something, I'm not saying enough affirmations. Maybe I'm not journaling. Maybe I should do 5 by 5. You can see the list goes on and on and on. But what is really the thing that they don't acknowledge or see or notice is who they are being under pressure. This is where it matters the most. Who are you being under pressure? Because who you are being under pressure is forging. Think of the sword inside of the flame. And every time the blacksmith is hitting that iron to shape it and mold it, that's exactly what is happening when you're going through your transition. You are being shaped and molded as this pressure hits. Because how do you think anything can change to you if you don't change? So if you don't change, why would anything outside, why would there be anything else that changes to you? There wouldn't be, because there's nothing to change, because you haven't changed. So the identity must be changed first. That is first step number one, is who you are being. Now, once you establish this part of it, who you're being, and you go through the pressure, if 3D hits, if something contradictory shows up, if someone, and you see something that is opposing to your new reality, or the reality you've already chosen to create, and you stay in the new I am, you stay in the new identity of already being loved, being chosen. Of course you are, because you are all that is. It comes from you. You are the source of everything. You create it. You created the bad, and you also create this good. And this is the new good that I accept and expect, because why? I create it to be so. And I put that breath of life in it. Therefore, it can only raise and live in that way of being. That's it. So once you do this, through that pressure, things start to shift. Now, the biggest mistake that people will do is they try to come to the effect. They try to go this way. Well, now that I'm being, now I can see the effect. Where is it? Power of I Am, Eric, a big fan, and admire his channel a lot, because there's not too many people who really understand this manifestation and identity and the power of I am. And I love how he explains it, because he says this thing about, where is it, Jesus? Because it's true. It is. It's people start looking at the effect. They start trying to see, okay, I am being this now. Where is the effect? Where is it? Why is it not here yet? Why is it not showing up on my doorstep? Man, I placed that Amazon order. Where the hell is it? It should be here by now. It's been 2 days. I'm a Prime member. What the fuck? Right? You start getting frustrated with your own self in this process. Now, when you come to the effect portion, this is where you have to understand a very key principle in this. You cannot have an effect without having a first cause. This right here is big, because a lot of people, and most people, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you watching, have come to this where you've gone the state of being and you start looking for the effects. We start seeing and seeking the validation of the state of being. Well, I've gone through the pressure, like Nick says, but where is my stuff? Where is a sign? Where is it? But you're going the wrong direction. And what you're going to do is this effect will, in kind, give you the same effect to who you're being. And so this will create a perpetual loop just in that little paradigm right there. And you will never get out and experience anything else, because you're being someone who is looking for an effect and needs validation to prove who you are, right? But let's go into the framework on, oops, I'm still learning my pad here with my whiteboard thing. Cool. All right. So how this works, okay? And how you, let me get rid of that. Okay, cool. So how this works, once you are being this, and you do have the identity of who you're being. So if it's the aspect of, we're using the example of love, you are chosen, you are desired, you are craved, you are loved, you are the king or queen, you are looked at. Anybody, you're magnetic. Your aura is drawing. You're captivating. You're alluring. You have this identity. You embody this identity. You live it. You walk it. You breathe it. Wherever you go, you don't change because you change to this new identity, but you don't adjust for anyone else. You be this identity, right? So that is your first cause. So people make the mistake of thinking that there's another cause, that there must be a list of things to do, right? The effect side, when you get stuck on the effect side, you can't have the desired effect because you can't have the desired effect by changing an effect. It just doesn't happen that way. So the first cause is always, always internal. First. I already said first cause. There you go. So your first cause is always internal. So who you are being, you choose it. You choose the identity of your new I am. I am loved. I am in a perfect relationship. Of course I am. I've only ever experienced great love, unending love, everlasting love, loyal love, committed, chosen love, passionate love, right? And when you go into this internally, this is the first cause. This is the kingdom of heaven within. This is seeking it first, right? Because what you're doing in this stage here is you're going through your visualizations. You're going through what it is you're trying, not trying, but what it is you're doing in this stage is feeling. And the feeling will always get the blessing. Feeling will always get the manifestation because it goes by who you are and it goes by what you feel. And who you are is what you feel and what you feel is who you are. So these two steps, you can't have one without the other. You see? So first is being. Who are you being under this pressure? And then when you go into the cause, now you're coming down here. That's the first cause. So with who you're being, what does your feeling state say inside? What voice of victory do you hear of people congratulating you? Man, you guys look wonderful together. You know, hearing people tell you that, man, your significant other, like if you're a guy watching this, man, that girl you're dating, you're with, man, she is fucking hot, man. And she loves you. She's so nurturing to you. And if you're a girl watching this, a woman, you know, man, that guy takes care of you. He is attentive. He is loving. He is there. He's patient. He's understanding. He's supportive. It's like he's the guy you were looking for this whole time. Wow. What an amazing relationship you're in. That is the first cause. So you go in there and you hear that voice of victory. You hear those inner conversations. You can see it. You visualize it, but you feel it and you embody that feeling. You hold it. Now you go live your life. Now, any point of this, you can do morning, noon, and night. That's what I like to do. I don't like to do all freaking day. If it does come up to something, I'll say one thing, and I usually do a theme, and I advise my clients to pick a theme for the day. If it's wealth, health, or love, and why you really can't, well, that's going to be a video explaining another part of the framework, but if it was love, right, and we're keeping on the theme of love, if there was something that came up contradictory, I would say one declaration, one affirmation, but I cycle through it. I will just talk it like it's speech. I would just say it in the confidence of, like if I'm having a conversation with somebody, I won't have a go-to affirmation or a declaration because then I don't want it to seem like it's repetitive, that I get tired of it, or that my human egoic mind, monkey mind, tries to meddle and contradict what I'm saying and my belief in it. Right? And my conviction and my knowing of who I am. So I'll just say it, you know, where it could just be anything. It's just be like, of course I'm loved. You know, why am I even discussing this? Of course I'm in the best relationship of my life. I know, why am I so loved right now? Why am I so abundantly, you know, just showered with love and affection? Man, because I'm awesome. I'm just the source of it. I am God and there is no other. I am the great I am. Done. Go about my day. Right? That is the first cause. Because now the first cause, now you've got the being. Now you're into the first cause. Now what happens when you do the first cause? You go into the awareness, okay? Now with awareness, this is what this is going to look like, okay? So let me go and change this color here. So let's go with purple. Okay, cool. So your awareness, this is what it's going to look when you're going through your manifestation, your frequency, your vibration. What are you aware of as you go through it? So when the pressure hits, what are you aware of? What are you saying as your first cause? Because your cause is not just a positive. Your first cause could also be a negative. Because you can say, well, I am being chosen. I am the one who's adored. I am the one who's chosen. I love is endless for me. But when you go into the cause and you try to hear the inner voice of conversations, or you do the visualization, or you lead by example, and everything is contradictory that you do to is going exactly to how you used to operate, to your subconscious programming. You still enact the same things. That is going to be your level of awareness. So are you aware of things not happening? Are you aware of things not moving? Are you aware that things are hard? Are you aware that, well, I am being and I am claiming, I am choosing, and I do hear the inner voice of victory, and I do see all the visualizations of it, and I do feel it, but man, it's hard to be aware that Valentine's is next week and I'm still by myself, right? Then you are aware of not being in a relationship. You're aware of not being in love or being with your specific person, right? That's the level of awareness. So what happens is as you go through this level of awareness, it goes through, who am I? Who are you under pressure? Who am I under pressure? Who am I as a first cause, right? Because this whole time, think of this as like a timeline or a balance check, so to speak, from what your awareness is. Now, let me go ahead and also state this. Let me see if I can make some room here. Okay, let me get rid of this. Because what awareness is also frequency, is also vibration, is also energy. Okay? They're all the same thing. Because what you are aware of is the frequency you will have. What your frequency you have is the energy that you resonate on, and that's the vibration that you are on. They're not all separate different things to fix. They're all the same thing. Your awareness is frequency, is energy, is vibration, all the same thing. And this whole time, as you're going through this process, as you're having things develop in the unseen, because manifestation is instant, because internally is the shift. That's where it happens first, is internal. That's where manifestation is instant. Not so much instant and automatically. Now, that does happen, but you may not see it. That doesn't. Or if you're so damn good with your self-concept and your identity of your I am and the power that you are, and you do not bend for anybody, you don't even give a shit. You do not bend or change for anyone. You know that you are the great I am, and you expect things to be changed as soon as you speak it into existence. That can happen. That is something that does happen. But in most cases, when people start out, this is kind of the process that they go through. They go through the different transitions of the pressure, of the process of manifesting their life or their love relationship, right? We were doing the theme of love here. So what are you aware of? If you are aware of being loved and being chosen and having that perfect relationship, that is the frequency you're going to vibrate on. That is the energy you're going to emit, the aura that's going to be around you, fulfill you, and emanate from you, pushed out into the world, and everyone's going to feed off that. And what do you think is happening in the universal construct, into your subconscious mind? What do you think is happening? You are doing the cheat code, right? Because now you know how this game works. You know that it's based on who I am being. Being is the first cause. Internal is the first cause. They all go in together, and the feeling state is what gets the blessing. So if I can feel it and be it and hold the feeling and the being of my identity through the awareness, that means my frequency is right, my vibration is correct, my energy is exactly where I need it to be. So inevitably, what happens inevitably you get the desired effect. Now that happens, you get the desired outcome. Here's the thing though. You will never know when. You will not know how or when for the effect to take place, for the effect to happen, for it to come about, to manifest, to be made manifest into your physical reality. But knowing that if this process, right, if this process here, here, here is met, the effect never had a choice. And don't think that effect ever has a choice. When you hear people say the universe, our reality, had no choice but to reflect it, it never had a choice to begin with. Why? Because you are the universe itself, the I am. It all comes from you. And I know that with this framework, you can start to see it. Because when I explain this to my clients, they start seeing it on and I know I'm like this too. I'm a very visual learner. You know, I have to see things to basically to like, oh my God, like the epiphany will go off. And when I show this to them, they're like, oh, I clearly see where I was going wrong. Like just within this simple step of the framework. Your desired effect handling all these three aspects is inevitable. But so is the negative effect. It's inevitable. It's all based on who you are and what you choose. Because this will always circle back to this. And you can see it's just a loop. It just cycles over and over and over again. So let's take wealth now, right? Let's go with wealth. Who are you being with wealth? Is money easy for you? Are you the identity that wealth is just comes to you, opportunities come to you, ideas, divine downloads, every business that you do, whether you're an entrepreneur or you work at a 9 to 5 and you're wanting a promotion or investments, you invest in real estate or whatever that it is that you do, what does wealth mean to you and who are you in the identity of wealth? Who are you when the pressure hits, when the bill comes through and you have to pay it, when a medical bill comes through, or when you're making that investment and it's a little bit more than you anticipated, or the first return isn't what you were expecting? Who are you under that pressure? Because that being that you choose is going to be your first cause. And then what you feel in that internal feeling state, what you claim, what you visualize in that feeling state is what's going to be setting it in motion. That is the first cause. And as you go through your frequency, right? As you go through your critical part of the frequency, your awareness, what are you aware on as being the I am? What frequency are you emitting in your awareness? Because that will only be the effect you're going to receive. And it will always, always be this way. It doesn't change. It will always, this is the game of reality. Right? That's the game of reality. And this is the blueprint of how it works. So every aspect, if you want it with health, the same thing. Are you the identity of someone who is healthy? That weight, that if you're trying to lose weight, if your goal is to lose weight, that weight just naturally falls off from you. And if you don't really have time to go to the gym, or some people can't afford a gym membership, if they're in that financial pinch, that when I go walking or I do calisthenics, I lose weight. My taste buds love healthy foods. I'm able to kick the habit of junk foods easily. I don't crave those things because I crave nourishment for my body, right? You're selecting that being the first cause is, okay, you are making better foods. You are making better choices when you eat. You are walking. Those are all first causes that go into the experience in that timeline of as you're going through that timeline, what are you aware of? That, yeah, I am doing this. I love eating good food, or I love working out. I love taking care of my health. You know, I'll have a glass of wine here and there, but I don't crush a bottle every night like I used to, right? I go walking every day, or I do push-ups every day. I do yoga, whatever it is. And as you're going through things, and let's just say you have an event, you're speaking at an event, and you got to wear a suit next week. Realistically, are you going to drop 50 pounds in a week? Probably not. But the identity of someone who is healthy, who is already in shape, who is working out, who is doing the right steps, they're going to be aware of, you know, it's not fitting yet, but the outcome is inevitable. So under that pressure of wanting to wear a certain suit, but it's still a little too snug, you can't quite fit in it just yet, doesn't mean it's over. Doesn't mean you collapse and you go backwards. Doesn't mean it's not working. Doesn't mean that at all. It just means, and that's creating that opportunity for you to select who you are being under this pressure. Because if you're like, oh, it's not a big deal, I'm going to fit in this suit and I'm also going to fit in another suit. I'm going to look even better than I used to in this suit. That's what I'm aware of. I'm aware of no matter what I wear, I am confident. No matter what I wear, I am healthy. No matter what the clothes do not define me. This suit is not going to tell me how I feel. So notice in that awareness, you stay to the identity of being healthy. Healthy mind, a healthy way of being, healthy self-concept, healthy awareness to who you are, to who your I am is, right? And that has no other choice than to give that desired effect. And that process will keep looping. So I wanted to make this video to kind of show you, in a quick sense, on a framework that I give to my clients and how it's helped them tremendously. And being able to see that, you know, reality and creating the life that you want is simply just a game. And this is where you can see the steps. You can see the process. You can understand where you may have a hiccup here and there and be able to have the ability to change it. So what a lot of my clients will do when I show them this framework is they'll write it out, you know, and they'll print it. So they will do the triangle, okay? They'll do the triangle and they'll put the being on the top, the effect, and they'll cause, okay? And then they'll put awareness, right? And they'll make like a little printout and they will, you know, write, okay, what did I do as a cause? You know, if I was working out, if I was, what things am I doing to change the identity? You know, like going back to health, if it was past 10 o'clock and you wanted popcorn or you have a sweet tooth and you wanted a freaking thing of ice cream, you know, there's nothing wrong with getting a thing of ice cream. I'm not trying to say you can't do that. But if you're making that was like an everyday thing and habit and you're trying to lose weight and be more healthy, that may not be, that's part of your old identity, right? That may not be something you want to do. And even Chase Hughes, who's a neuroscientist, if you don't know his channel, it's just his name, Chase Hughes. Phenomenal guy, phenomenal. I can't say enough. They talk about, he talks about how they've done experiments to where identity under the pressure is how it changes, but also to the small little steps that your subconscious, your inner self is watching every little thing that you do. And it logs it, like I mentioned in another video of mine, where it logs what you do. It takes a report. So all you're doing here is showing new data, programming new data into this video game and changing the stage that it's giving you, but you change the stage that you give it. So your outcome, your results, your ability to change the life that you want and be the life that you wish to receive and experience is very doable. And it is very easy. And this is how the game of reality works and how manifestation is a game. And here is a framework, a cheat code to use it. Now, if you're still struggling with how you interact with pressure and how to remain as the new identity under pressure, I made a video talking about that, specifically handling that particular situation. You can go ahead and click that, watch that, and I'll see you over there.